Well, I am sitting here with Dave Mullins, and we're sitting in a recording booth in Franklin, Tennessee, and this kind of marks almost near the near end of this journey. And it's been a little over 4 years, and
It seems like so much longer.
yeah, it does. It does. Why do you say that?
It just does.
Yeah. But man, I just want you to know, and I've said this to you many times, but I'm super thankful, man.
Me too.
It's been one of those things where, like I've said at a lot of the screenings, that I heard a pastor say one time that it's a wise thing to pay attention to what stirs your affections for Christ. And, Rich has always been my hero, but, even working on the movie, it was oftentimes that God would continue to draw me back to him throughout this process. And because I'm far from perfect, and I need Jesus more than anybody I know. And so I'm super thankful. Super thankful. But I thought one of the things that would be cool is for us to, when we set out to make this movie, we didn't want it to just be a movie. And we had high hopes. We didn't know if anybody would watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, I doubted it.
Yeah. But we hoped it would be more. We hoped it would be something that hopefully that if it did happen and that God made it, that people could hopefully experience the love of God through the movie. And so, and I know we we know some of these stories that we're going to share already, but just kind of, let's chat, and maybe we'll even see what if there's any stories that each other doesn't know about some of the cool stuff that God's been doing through the movie. So, but what's one of your favorites? What's one of your favorite kind of stories that you've heard that people have experienced the love of God through this film?
I think one of my favorites is just some of people who were friends with Rich, who after the accident kind of shut down, and one guy in particular was talking to me, and he had been at a place of going, you know what, no, these are my memories. It's all very personal, and just kind of closed everything in. And when he heard we were doing the movie and it was coming out, he was really kind of concerned about, okay, what's this going to be? And but after he went and saw it, he said, he talking to me, he told me that he felt like God was beginning to meld his heart, and bring and breathe life back into him. But also he started going, oh man, by trying to hold these things really precious, I've closed it off, and no one even knows about it.
Yeah.
And knows a huge part of my life. And so now he's like been encouraged and emboldened to kind of start living again, and to share his stories of his time with Rich. And so stories just of people kind of. One of the cool things with him, then he was at another showing and actually helped with the Q&A, and met somebody afterwards who emailed him and went, I think this movie basically saved my life.
Yeah.
That this person was, I think, just kind of drowning in life.
Yeah.
And
you forwarded me that email, and I read that, and I was like, what? Is this really happening?
Yeah.
I mean, just so cool.
Yeah. So that's probably my favorite.
Your favorite, yeah. Well, the story, but probably my favorite is we had a church in Tennessee reach out to us and, actually asked us if we did like prison screenings or jail screenings. And we were like, yeah. And that was kind of the end of it. It was like we were going to send them that. And then they said, well, can somebody...
That was a good response. Yeah.
Sure. And then, but then they were like, hey, can somebody come out? And and so we were, we happened to make it work, and so I got to go out there, and I had never kind of spoken at a jail thingy before. Remember, I called you?
Yeah,
and
you were freaked out.
yeah, I was very freaked out. And so anyway, we do the screening of the movie, and I was back there, and it was a Southern Baptist church, and kind of, I don't know what the term is, but kind of the Art Deco style. And so you had what they did is they had the men prisoners on one side and the women prisoners on the other, and the whole middle section was completely empty. And so I was sitting on a few rows back behind the guys, and probably about the middle portion of the movie, like once kind of we had the sermon from Brennan Manning in the movie, throughout the rest of the movie you could just hear the sniffles because of the style of the building. You could hear everything echo really well. And I was like, oh man, I think God's doing something here. And so so afterwards, after we spoke, and they actually requested that, hey, can we do some type of altar call or whatever? And I hadn't done anything like that in forever. But it was returning to my roots, I guess.
And you said, yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's fine. And but anyway, what was really cool is and the pastor of this church was great, and we did the altar call, and it was like I could look at the guys' faces, and I could see some of the guys were really moved, but you could also tell that it seemed like it was almost a safety issue to show emotion, and that made sense. But what happened is I think there were 17 women who ended up accepting Christ, and the visual, picture this as 17 women in blue jumpsuits with handcuffs, and after the altar call was done, they all came forward and literally got on their hands and knees and lifted their hands and handcuffs up and just started praising Jesus on their own. And the pastor and even like some of the security there, like we all got down, and I was like a couple feet away, and I was like, I'll never be the same. I'll never be the same. That's probably my favorite.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. I think one of the first ones happened when we first started, like the screenings, was we just got like a random Facebook message, and she's like, it was this woman. She's like, I'm 50 years old. Jesus saved me when I was 7, but I've always really struggled to believe that the love of God was true. And she's like, I can't even explain it, but I watched the movie, went to bed that night, woke up the next morning, and I felt like I experienced the love of God for the first time. Man, it was just super.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where we go from here, I mean, that's, I think, part of the exciting part of this whole process is now that this journey is kind of done, it's completely out of our hands what happens from here. And
like anything's been in our hands.
Yeah. But literally, like, there's nothing to do anymore.
Right.
And that's the part where I get excited about going is, yeah, I totally agree. Nothing's been in our hands, but it's now we really just get to sit back and hear more stories, we hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anybody that's happens to be randomly listening to this, you got to be bored out of your mind. And but B, just super thankful for everything, all the support and prayers, and we would not have gotten this far without a bunch of people praying. So just thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.